Good evening, Pastor Leo Cunningham with your Glenwood United Methodist Church Friday evening check-in. Thanks for all the responses we've gotten to our online community, whether it is the one-call phone system, it has been our Facebook page, it has been Instagram, it has been here on the YouTube channel. Now, speaking of which, some of you have responded. You've sent some emails, you've got some questions about some terminology you're hearing used today that maybe doesn't quite make any sense or you're just not familiar with it. You've never heard it before. Well, I'm going to walk you through some of these based off of your emails, your responses. Vimeo. You've heard this term. Matter of fact, the first 2 Sundays that we live streamed here at Glenwood, this is where you had to go. But now we're saying go to YouTube to do it as well. So to use some examples and some terminology that some of us might be more familiar with, think of Vimeo and YouTube as television networks. You know, for those of us who remember when there were only 4 television networks. So Vimeo is just a channel like NBC. YouTube is a channel like ABC. So sometimes our program is on NBC. Sometimes our program was on ABC. That's all these are. They're just channels. They're just stations that will broadcast content, audio and video. Now, another question that came up. Were these terms: podcast and stream. Well, let's cover podcast first. A podcast, in its most simplest form, is an audio-only version of a program. Some of us are old enough to remember when there weren't television shows. All you had to listen to was a show on the radio. Well, a podcast is just an audio version of an interview, a conversation. It's a replay, kind of like you would have in your car on a cassette or a CD. Yes, I'm showing up my age. So if you hear the term podcast, what they're saying is you can listen to an audio version of this. It's almost like your audio books, but it's done through different software. On Sunday mornings, we have a podcast of the sermon on Spreaker. It's Spreaker.com. Spreaker is the channel that we use to broadcast that on. It's the Leo Cunningham Show on Spreaker.com. This term stream, is it a live stream? Is it streaming? Think about the digital world almost like a river. And it flows like a stream. So it will digitally send a signal via the internet, via Wi-Fi, to you. It's almost like if you remember the old radio signals, the radio broadcast, the television broadcast. It sent a signal from the tower to your television set. Well, that was a stream. Netflix will stream. It will send this digital information to you so you can watch your shows. A live stream means that what you are watching is being delivered to you in a live manner, like right now. This is live. Now, those of you who are going to watch this on Facebook in a few minutes, you're going to watch a recording of a live stream. But it is still going to be streamed to you via Facebook. So you hear someone talking about something that has to be streamed, they're just saying it has to be broadcast. It has to be delivered. It has to be sent. That's the jargon. I got one more term that is not here on the board that came up in your emails. Thank you for sending those emails in. We appreciate that. The feedback is always good. Let's get this nice and set here. Oh, I'm thankful. I've got a director and producer tonight in the sound booth. I am not shooting this by myself. Thank you so much. Someone sent me a voicemail about Ephesians, a verse discussing how when people are working together, it's a better way to get things done. Hopefully you can see this. Z-O-O-M. You may have heard this term used. Zoom. And I am not talking about that TV show that was on PBS in the 70s, and also it came back in the 2000s. Not talking about that kind of Zoom. Zoom is a way Are you good? Can you see that okay? So Zoom is a company that allows you to have a face-to-face conversation on your computer, on your tablets, if you have a camera. Now, you can also do this on a phone. So think about Zoom this way. It's almost like, for those of you who are older, it's almost like a party line where everybody can get on and talk. Another way to think about Zoom, if you want to think about it visually, is your TV set has like picture-in-picture. They don't do that too much more, but in the old days, we had picture-in-picture so you could watch two different channels. So a Zoom conference would allow you and a person to have a face-to-face interaction through your computer, through your cell phone, through your tablet, your iPad, whatever device you have that has a camera. So if you hear someone say, oh, we're going to have a Zoom call, you're hearing about how the teachers are having Zoom classrooms. So what's happening is the teacher will send an email that says, hey, at 9 a.m., you all have to check in. And then the kids who have the internet access will click on that date that says, okay, 9 a.m. on Monday. And the teacher will see a grid of a picture of all of her students that she or he, there are male teachers, that can interact with the students visually. So it would almost be like how we're talking right now. I can't see you. You can see me. On Zoom, I could see you, you could see me, we could talk to each other. That's what a Zoom is. For those of you who are on Apple products, sometimes it's referred to as FaceTime. For those of you who are on Facebook, there is a little camera icon that you can click on and you can have a video conference. You can talk to each other and see each other. It's almost like some more references, I'm dating myself, Flash Gordon or Dick Tracy. Or even better yet, for my sci-fi fans, Star Trek. You know how Captain Kirk would be sitting in the Enterprise and he would want to talk to someone from another starship? He would have the communications officer was Uhura. Thank you, Rebecca. So Kirk would say something like, Uhura, we need you to open up a channel so we can talk to the Klingons. And that screen where he could see outer space would suddenly be a picture of one of the Klingons or one of the Romulans or maybe one of the Vulcans, and they would talk to each other from the Starship Enterprise from the bridge. Zoom. That's all that is. This is just all the technology we saw growing up. It's now real. It's now happening in real life. All of those things. So I know tonight wasn't much of a theological conversation. It wasn't maybe what you were used to seeing these last few days. But there is faith formation. There is education. There is no use in us using terms if we're not going to define them for you. And maybe I'll do that periodically. Now that we've got this up and running, I'm looking forward to doing chapel with the kids on Mondays. I am looking forward to being able to do Bible study now digitally with you so we can talk about some of these things. But it's Friday evening. The sun is setting. God's graced us with another day of life. I'm hoping you all get some rest and some peace and some renewal for whatever tomorrow lies ahead. But don't fret about tomorrow. Today's got its own concerns. Be mindful, be present in the here and now. It's Pastor Leo Cunningham. It's Friday night. I'm offering you grace, peace, and as my Jewish friends would say, shalom. Good night.